Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru, hello.
And folks, today we are on Haroshaje as a close combat setup here. What's going on, Rang?
On left-hand side in the blue, we have HSC playing Rosselsprung with a Vanguard income. Right-hand side in the red, we have UIC playing as the Yugoslavians with a Maverick income.
So, the Unternehmen or Rosselsprung over here, or what have you. Thank you. Excuse me. It's been, it's the winter cold, man. We don't get to see this very often. So I'm already getting fascinated by watching the little French tanks over here in the middle. I know we got some Italians as a possibility here. Against the Yugoslavs, kind of expecting two lightweights kind of fighting it out. What's your read on this?
Yeah, this is a very fun matchup because both sides have very deep and diverse infantry tabs. But yeah, the tank fight is looking something out of a French Civil War in 1940 more than anything. So, especially on a map which has a lot of open battles, I think it's be quite interesting. Also, the close combat deployment as well, as we're seeing the Yugoslavs getting absolutely pounded here, as HSC has set up a very effective line of fire and just completely suppressing this blob.
Well, and you have to love, too, the fact that the biplanes coming on in with their 10-kilogram clusters. Like, to me, this is, I was listening to a podcast actually earlier today on the Night Witches, and I can't help but feel like this is just beautifully timed for that right now. Maybe the wrong country, but at the same time, just the idea of these biplanes basically chucking hand grenades out the side of the plane.
Yeah, this is honestly some very ghetto equipment from both sides. And then down south, we're seeing, UIC is a pretty decent defensive line. He's got the Italian field guns, which are more than enough to deal with the very light Italian armored infantry crossing crossing that field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always like calling it the saddle. It feels like it's right between two high ridges. It kind of feels like it works out, right?
No, yeah.
Ooh, we got a DO-17 coming in, and actually a really, really early bow fighter. So the bow fighter, no problems, I would hope. Yep, there we go, shooting that bad boy down. But down south, the DO-17, I'm kind of fascinated by this, because first of all, it's a 65 millimeter, not a 75. Not a 38, not a 50, a 65 millimeter. And
those Italians.
Yeah, they just dare to be different, man. Inheritors of Rome, here they come. But even as we're watching that go in and get kind of a lackluster, got some suppression, don't get me wrong, we see up top what had been a loose defense is really no defense whatsoever anymore.
Yeah, we're seeing in the center pretty decent investment from HSC, just throwing bloody everything in there. But also all the way up north, it's a little bit of a opportunity here for HSC to take advantage of, and take advantage of it himself, because there's literally, for current moments in time, nothing up north. Here we are seeing some reinforcements being brought, actually quite a lot of reinforcements.
Especially since we have L6s there. Actually, we have L6s on both sides, don't we?
Yeah, it's the tank tabs ends up getting quite confusing because all these Yugoslav tanks are just captured British/German/Italian tanks.
Yeah, and French for that matter, I suppose, here too. I'm just kind of watching this. It almost feels like every tank is a Valentine. And not just because it's Valentine's Day. By the way, have a wonderful time and getting a nice straight shot to the heart out there to you folks on Valentine's Day today. But 35S's over here kind of so slow, and they're not going to get here until next Valentine's Day. And indeed, if they get there at all, you see up north, the 47 mil takes them out.
Holy crap, I completely forgot, or you don't want to see it often, the amount of goddamn firepower that both fighter has, 4 Spanos, 6 Brownings. Yes. I mean, we saw it just strafe some infantry, and it completely stressed them out. All the S-35s in the town are going to be duking it out here.
Well, one's a leader, so of course we're going to find out he's the most useless of them. Bouncing shells like it was his job. A sight damage, please, he's an officer, he can't see anything anyway. Okay.
God.
Oh, jeez.
It's like a slap fight here. There we go. Bow fighter comes in.
Well, and one coming in here. Okay, we have 2 bow fighters. That's fine. All right.
Yeah. Damn, those bow fighters are really being quite clutch here for UIC, because the ground game is not looking great for him. His infantry is getting slapped at long range, as the Germans do have MG42s. Yugoslavs are really more suited for CQC fights here. So he really needs to maintain that air power, because as we see in the town, it's very barren here for the partisans.
I have to kind of disagree with you about the fact that you sent them made more for close fire support. Actually, watching up north, you have the board sheet, for example. They're going to run afoul of these two Grenadier squads. Actually, the Grenadier squad who came around just flanked him and just forced a surrender of both squads. Really, really well done there.
Yeah, and the Grenadiers not going to be close enough forever to deal with those L6s. So yeah, it's really just coming down to this cheap tank spam. But the interesting thing comes that all these cheap tank spam is only A phase for both sides. So once we get to B phase, I mean, all the tanks are going to be gone. I guess it's really going to become a very World War I battle of artillery guns just pounding each other. And honestly, for both sides, they do have decent artillery tabs, so heavily investing into that would be a good idea. I think Stuka finished off the rest of the S-35s in the town.
He did indeed. Now, we've actually seen a couple of those artillery guns, as you were kind of talking about, 275 mils. One that was engaging the middle of the town, but looks like they're going to both be aiming for the 47, which is kind of schlepping it across the open field there. Of course, if they aim in the same postal code as him, they might be a little confused about what sector they're really fighting in.
Yeah. Gonna be missing quite a bit.
Yeah, but I guess that kind of is par for the course here. He's going to start having shells drop behind him in the meantime. Whoa, the R-35s. I didn't think they were that slow. I didn't think anything could be that slow.
Yeah, the French didn't really take too many lessons out of World War I, unfortunately. Well, they didn't really have the economy to do that.
Actually, I thought the R-35 might have been one of those tankettes, right? Like a two-man crew type of thing.
Yeah, it's two-man.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole thing about French tank turrets, which I could spend 30 minutes talking about, so I'll save you guys at home the hassle.
Oh, I guess I have my notebook out and everything. I was ready for the next lecture series that we had, but I guess not today, folks. Not today.
No. But no, it's very interesting in this town fight, because HSC does have a very good opportunity to just plow on through, but once again, being a little bit timid, he needs to really move up his Grenadiers in a more offensive position. And you've seen the UIC actually flank with a 47mm getting a good shot.
Which is, kind of strange. The Kabul in itself, I mean, obviously not going to be the most killy of things in the first place. I actually do have to love the drilling over here. Not just because it makes me feel like the Jabberwocky kind of poem. It was drilling, and the bow fighter was flying over. Like, I'm just... Some crazy stuff still going on with this. And honestly, not for nothing. Once again, just ridiculous calibers. Like, who puts a 15mm out there?
Yeah.
A 20. Give me a 7.62. Don't give me a 15.
It was weird and evil people with odd calibers.
Yeah, you don't find people of that caliber very often anymore.
No, you don't.
Now, the L6 up to the north, there's a lone L6. The other one, I think, got taken out by a rather lucky or rather unlucky squad of infantry. We have an LG-42 as the L6 charges up the hill into the face of almost certain doom between a PaK-38 and the LG. And these, Ustas over here that are just going to be able to hopefully kill anything else that's in there.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent concentration of firepower here. Oh, damn!
Jeez.
You can't forget how nasty autocannons can be. And that PaK-38 only has a single hit point, and Eustache, no AT grenades.
Yeah, he's going to go down. Here it comes. Absurd, ladies and gentlemen. But if they get close enough, maybe they can do like the whole grenade attack thing. Not going to do much, but it might buy some time until the Grenadier with Panzerfaust get over here as well. So.
Good God.
No,
this is scary as hell.
Yeah, it's so strange because it's a knife fight, but nobody brought knives. And now we have the 75 mils over here for the Yugoslavs, just kind of going after the truck that has a single gun in the back. So like. Yeah, I'm really trying to wrap my head around this because, again, these are just not divisions you see.
No. And especially this map, like, if this was also north, it'd probably be better for both divisions, but because this is a pretty open map and also kind of choke pointy at the same time, we're just seeing these crazy investments from both sides. But once again, like, the tanks are starting to run a little bit lower as we enter into B phase here. And it will, I'm going to guess, come down to artillery and air spam.
Well, the weird thing, too, is watching clusters being used against anti-air. And because of the suppressing the entire artillery park as well. So that is the most unintended self-own I think we've seen so far in this match.
Yeah. No, it's actually quite an interesting call-in, because there is actually a reason to use clusters against non-tanks because of the suppression damage is super strong. But you usually want to do that like an off-map, where you follow up immediately and blow up the stunned unit. You can't really do that with artillery guns, which are in the back line.
No, no, you cannot.
Unless he's doing that to stun up the anti-air so the Dornier could come on through. That might have been it.
I didn't even notice the Dornier until just now, because I watched the 35Ss do their thing, so... I don't see any bombs, though. Did I miss that?
Oh, yeah, he'd already dropped on the center.
Oh, okay.
Stunned up at Borsi squad.
Oh, okay. I was watching the 35S's duel with the Blindas and the R35s, so, again...
Yeah.
The craziest noodle contest in the world. One thing I kind of didn't remember here as well is that so much of the proletariat over here for the Yugoslavs just don't have any anti-tank.
Yeah, they're a little bit lacking in the anti-tank department. I have a few Molotovs here and there to spread the love, but well, fortunately for them, it's not going to be too much of a problem as we get later on into this game. But still, once again, just lack of machine guns at long range will hurt them a bit. And the machine guns they do get are basically like Czech and Italian. No, not many MG42s.
No, not at all. And as we're watching, we actually have the M15I, the Italian tank over here in the center, holding back the entire Yugoslav attack by himself, which is just not a sentence I ever thought I'd say during a cast. But here we are.
Here we are.
Down south, in the meantime, we actually haven't checked anything down there. There's been some kind of half efforts, but it's a little difficult to charge across that particular saddle when you have a heavy machine gun and the anti-tank guns, and now you have a stovepipe over here. Yeah, this has just been meat bouillabaisse pretty much since the word go, and bringing a couple P2s is not going to be enough.
Yeah, it's a very effective defensive line here for UIC, just for that support. Rapin is seen time and time again has worked very well, keeping the HSC from getting into his saddle. But yeah, the problem for HSC, he needs some support weaponry if he wants to try and take it. And, well, he doesn't have a whole lot of... Well, he has anti-tank guns, and I believe he has some Italian 47 mils, but even just at 165 mil, machine gun teams are more than enough to really win out those engagements.
Well, we're going to see right now that the DO-17 is not going to be able to get bombs off, I don't think. No, he is suppressed, and he is booking it out of there just as fast as his tiny little engines can take him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think he knew about the 20 mil down south, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe another artillery piece get called in for that. I would think that'd be a pretty solid call there, but nothing like that has happened just yet.
Yep. Oh, Panzer IIs, we're really going up in technology here.
Yeah, he brought these in, but at the same time, I feel like they're going to show their face and get immediately rocked by the 47 mils.
Yeah. Yeah, especially 65 mils. It's in a they're in very good defensive positions with the cover and all of that, so...
It's almost as good as the Blinda piercing the middle right now, just completely suppressing two squads of Brandenburgers.
How did they get...
They just raced right through the lines, and since like half of these guys don't have any kind of anti-tank, they just kind of said, deal with it, scrub, get good, and just did this.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like a battle in a major war card. It just feels like a Mad Max brawl.
It does, but it also kind of feels like, when you're playing like one of those 4X games and you both have allies, but the allies are being run by computers in the first place, and you're like, no, don't do that! And it's like, yes, they're going to lead an unsupported charge through the entire thing, except that the armories for both sides are just that curious that it can work.
Yeah.
And it's consistently working.
Yeah. No, this what makes this DLC, even though it took them almost over a year to release. And yeah, the divisions aren't matters. The reason you do not see these divisions being played in any of the major tournaments, when paired up together like this, especially on Orthodox maps, you get... I don't know what to call it. I guess it's...
Well, I think
a fight.
I think that's exactly what you said is what it was, is exactly what it is. It's an Orsha North map. So I think you hit the nail on the head with that already. Orthodoxy or not, though, I mean, I'm sure... Again, it's the wet noodle contest, which I love. I love those things when it happens.
Yeah.
Now, one thing we haven't done a ton of looking into is just like the actual squad loadouts, like the Lochi Tankovas up to the north. One of the rare times we actually get to see a boys anti-tank rifle, because even the Brits decided it was a wasted time at this point.
Yeah. Honestly, a pretty good call-in for this battle.
It is. It is, because, I mean, they also have the anti-tank grenades, and frankly, at this point, so much of the stuff that they have, this is, the West's PTRS here, so this works out perfectly.
Yeah. We're going to see the Borsies coming in. Should be enough to clear out that Panzer Grenadier, but no, it's actually a decent amount of artillery for 75 mils. I think, yeah, like I keep saying, it's going to come down to the RT. We're seeing in the center, the 75 mil park is getting some very good hits, but they don't have much ammunition or lives left, so they just get bombed to bitch.
Yeah, and that was the thing, wasn't it? Is that there was one suppression, and at that point, everything just kind of went to the dogs. Now, another one's coming in. He's actually going to come and try to take out that park for once and for all, which is, I think, a bit of a misutilization. I think I'd actually probably even send him to suppress the L6s at the southern part of the town. I know he sees them, because they've been engaging thus far. But, 1,000 kilograms of love, someone out there's going to be happy. May not be the Yugos over here, but here we are.
And will Beaufighter be fast enough? Beaufighter is pretty slow, if I recall.
No, but the DO-17 is not really known for its speed either.
No. Oh, but it's an Italian aircraft.
And now the leaking fuel tank. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right here.
And Baltimore, so dropping in its bomb load, gonna get some pretty good hits. Yeah, it's all just coming down to effective, really just high explosive spam from either side. Or Baltimore's up north as well. That should be enough to shut down this push.
Yeah, but also no. Because like the Borchi itself can't stop the P2. The only thing that can't stop the P2 is a heavier anti-tank gun than what they have anywhere near in the theater. So it's very, very strange. That's just the thing today. This is the multiverse of madness right now. That's what this is.
Yes. Yeah, one Panzer II might as well be a Stug 3 in this sort of matchup here, because there's nothing to oppose him. He's taking those shots like a champ. He's stunned, but he's still alive, and you've got the Brandenburgers being brought on in, absolute elite troops to push the front line here. And I think this is really the opportunity over here for HSC to just kind of book it up north. But there's a lot of geography between him and the next flag, so this does give UIC time to set up a next line of defense.
That's why he's okay, fine. Bring you guys up north, that's fine. DO-17 right back to the center. All of these Fallschirmjägers and Slosh trooping over here in the center, and the DO-17 is hitting the line where I thought he should have hit it in the first place. So, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Might see some scatter here, but that's still fine. Did you not?
No bomb drop.
Boobala. Gotta put it down the pickle barrel. Whatever. P2 in the north does go down. 47 mils, though, very quickly going to be following them, because the HE values on that are just not worth it to fight off an entire company's worth of an attack.
Yeah, it does have a very high firing gun, to be fair, but it only has 15 high explosive shells, which you'd think it'd pack a little bit more. If I was even an Italian dude in North Africa, I'd be like, my 47 mil, it's no way I'm going to blow up many tanks with this. Just give me the high explosives.
And then you hear, Bonsai! And you see the Italian dude run out of the gun. But actually, I'm a little confused, I think, actually, not by this defense here in the center, but so much the Yugoslavian charge of the discount Bren team. Oh, not the bread team, that's a very different group. But, the proletariat over here, these guys for the Panzerfaust, I actually forgot that these are basically non-disheartened, not air sacks, what's the word I'm thinking?
They're like grenadiers.
Yeah, but
they're basically grenadiers.
But I think the UD M42, I think having just that, trading out one of the MG42s for just better close-in firepower actually might make them a shade better. But
yeah, they're really the backbone of the communist Yugoslavian regime.
Well, of course,
allows you to hold the front line and even get some cool American submachine guns to boot.
Of course, the backbone is that the people themselves, they're rising in defense of the glorious motherland of Yugoslavia / Russia.
Yeah.
And I might be wrong here, but there's I'm not going to say a last dice, but Northern side, crazy amount of infantry because I think he's really quite nervous about this now. But all these Borderchi, I think, are going to go and they'll push through, but they're going to take hellish losses to do it, which gives plenty of time for these SPWs, 41s, and 43s to get across. Stalshiegers, the Pioneers, and these 75 mils are getting resupplied as well within the next minute or two. So it's going to get hideous before it gets anywhere close to being better.
Yeah. I've started to notice the main pattern of this match is play our real mass a really, elite strike force of some spammy unit. They then attack with this elite strike force in a blob. Then it gets high explosive to death by for bombs or artillery. Rinse and repeat for the past 20 minutes.
And yet, people make millions of dollars by making Marvel movies out of that every other year.
Yeah. It's a tried and true industry. It just works.
It is. I think, at least my camera up to the northern side is a perfect example of this. We had the DO-17 come in, obliterate the leading squads of Borderchi who were already pinned down. And now we're going to see 3 Blindos being thrown back the other direction here, too. Now, the problem with this is there's still a Pack 40, who I want to say has at least, he's got some decent HP. If he just wants to move just a bit further east, he could be really, really devastating to that T-junction. But maybe he doesn't know he's not in view. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's another, really HSC's final opportunity to try to retake, or not retake, but capture the flag up north, as he has his last few armor reserves making the push here. There's 2 L6s getting into position, and at 147 mil AB-43 is not there to provide fire support right now. And, the 41s are beating the L6. Oh, there's more blinders. It's just Mad Max brawl,
Yep, and I can't decide who the Doof Warrior is, but somebody out there is getting a flame jet coming out of the top. I think it might be the AB-43.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he goes down. In the meantime, we actually also are going to see Stashiegos getting probably blitzed pretty quick because that Pack 40 still is not in line of sight. There we go. Finally seeing him move. Very, very slowly, but seeing him move. So this might be the death of the Blindos, and that might be the end of our intrepid heroes.
Yeah, the Pack 40 is taking some major suppressive damage, because autocannons are quite nasty.
But it doesn't matter if he takes out the Blindos, nobody else can see him.
Yeah.
So. And the AB-43 is going to engage. No, he's not. He's going to donate his life to the cause. Yep.
If he can hit. There we go.
Look at the Podroskas over here. Okay, that's about it. John Ballisti. I would like them to change the unit cards that way if you know what the AT is going to be before you click on them. Because I was like, yes, bazookas. And I was like, no, Piats.
And more icons, please.
Exactly. Now, 105's in the center. Actually, while we look to the northern side, the middle has gone very, very red. And I guess all of the German troops over here have decided, in fact, it is better to be dead than red. And the Yugoslavs are more than happy to accommodate that. But 105's in the meantime, trying to drop rounds, looking back at the anti-air cover, might be able to get a stovepipe by accident. And just gives enough time, I think, for these strife troops to be pushed on in.
Yeah, and that is a lot of strife to take the front line. I think, the Juris Nietzsche will be able to get an ambush on them, R-35s as well. Come on, unload, get out. And those strife troops are, they're pretty beefy, actually.
Yeah, and when you have, an entire company of them lined up like some perverse execution squad, well, I mean, they are...
Yeah, had experience doing that.
Jeez. Yeah. Oh, man, yeah, you're right. That was an unfortunate moment there, folks. As I was thinking to myself, I was like, there's got to be a better way to put this. And I thought to myself, Rank's never going to call me out for this.
They're going to be given some strife OT up front line, and will be enough to just hold it back for the time being as, the bombs come in. Fortunately, I guess for UIC in this instance, he wasn't completely blobbed. So he still has units on the front line, just nothing of really substance.
I think that's probably a reasonable way to put it. I'm actually kind of surprised there hasn't been as much action down south as we've seen in the center, that we've seen in the north. When, like you said, it is choke pointy, but it's kind of consistent choke pointiness on all fronts.
Yeah. And both sides still have, I mean, they're going to be, I keep saying they're going to keep running out of tanks, but they find that little reserve here and there. And even though both sides only have up to B phase infantry, they have a lot of infantry. Well, mostly.
Mostly, yeah. Now, northern side, we are going to see the Pac 40 is going to get overrun. The AB 43 going to die here as well. But they are taking that OS leader to Pound Town, especially with the help of 75 mils from way downtown. And the AB goes down, but that's fine. As long as the Gebirgsjägers can kind of get over here and set up a defensive line on this ridge, everything would be just hunky-dory, I would think.
Yeah. It's actually quite funny just how effective Israel at Beaufighter works as an anti-tank plane in this sort of matchup. Because like I mentioned before, just its immense firepower. When all you're doing is blowing up Italian clown cars. You know, that thing might as well be an IL-2 37mm.
Exactly. Now I was distracted by just the weird Jackson Pollock lines we were seeing as well in the center as... Oof, that Baltimore is ridiculous. As the 105s are engaging the front lines, but at the same time they're getting engaged in turn, and it's just... I guess I was also thinking about the fact that you mentioned they find just a little bit more armor here and there, and I was like, yeah, duh. They check between the couch cushions and find that one of the models has slipped down there at their last meal. It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. I think one of his advantages long-term here for UIC is that he's been more effective with... Well, both sides have been effective with aircraft call-ins, but HSC still doesn't really have much anti-air, and UIC has a lot of Baltimores and Beaufighters, which can still blow things up, and you can get immense value out of him still. So if he can just keep, throwing stuff on the front line, even though he's not doing great in terms of points, I think eventually, if he just keeps trading by bombing everything to, Stone Age and back, he can reverse the tide.
But I'm pretty sure when they said throw something at the wall and see what sticks, they weren't talking about, digital human lives. So I guess I have to moderately disagree with you there. Though we are seeing the 20 mils in the middle are just absolutely obliterating the strife as they come on in, which, ironically, I think still perfectly works. DO-17, not going to get anywhere close. He might get a couple bombs off, but they're going to be wildly spread. He's actually probably lucky he doesn't hit his own troops with these.
And the R-35 as well, just, keeping enough geographic distance between him and the Panzerfaust to strive just pushed up a little bit too aggressively here, and UIC will have the time to bring in the beefy reinforcements. While HSC, okay, yeah, he's bringing in another big blob of infantry.
Watching the north side here for just a second, just these 5 squads of Gebirgsjägers who have just earned their certification by just climbing up that mountain. On the other side, I kind of want to see this happen. This is as close to even numbers parity that we've seen in a very long time. And I can't decide whether or not they're waiting as like a trap or what. But I can tell you, we also have these scouts that are coming in over here for the Slavs that are going to be, well, just enough, I think, under the circumstances.
Oh, yeah. I've also seen a little bit of a push down south here from UIC, just trying to catch HSC off guard, which is actually a very good idea, because he does have fire support superiority on the hill, so he does have a clear shot in getting into our position. And actually opening up a new front will probably throw HSC off his game quite a bit. If he doesn't, come on, please unload. Please unload.
But yeah, the Ustazi over here are actually, I think, in a better position. I mean, they're not out in the middle of the road for one.
Helps not to be in the middle of... I played Company of Heroes, and I've learned if you stand in the middle of a road, that you get a red shield, and that red shield makes you very easy to get killed. I like being behind sandbags, so it gives you green shield.
Exactly. I mean, the red shield, if you have a red shield in any game, that's the closest way that you're going to be able to start seeing a red cross soon after that.
Yeah.
Not often one of those moments where you're like, yeah, out in the open, red is good. No, red always means stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting the throwdown fight I was hoping for up to the northern side. Your Berserkers are actually getting caught on the turn. Somehow they are actually getting obliterated here.
Yeah, the ambush as they got into the light forest is quite impressive here. Yeah, well, yeah, the OSS leaders do have that 1919, which is pretty good fire support. Yeah, honestly, a very good engagement so far from UIC. If he can just get the rest of his troops into position, he's moving 2 of his squad to actually block the road here.
Well, and they're rushing on in now. They're gonna force one surrender, but I think they spent so much firepower on that front squad. They're gonna take some really unnecessary casualties with this.
Yeah.
It is 1311. Let's not kid ourselves. It is 1311, but technically, UIC is still running at a slight points deficit this entire time.
Yeah, he's still... I mean, both sides do have really poor incomes come this sea phase, so he's not in a terrible spot, but he's really going to have to, I'd say push pretty effectively down south and also just secure the middle. Probably the best thing is for North is just... I'd say he could hold North, but as you can see with our God Vision, there's nothing really to stop him from going across that saddle.
Not for the moment, anyway. I'm not going to say unsung heroes, because they're very much sung heroes in this, but the 75s and the 105s, I think over here for the Germans, have been instrumental in keeping things, to use your term, on an even keel.
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting to see Fusiliers being thrown on forwards, which kind of tells you exactly how dire the situation is getting, that they're like, you know what? Let's send in these scouts as our frontline infantry.
Indeed. So they do have snipers, so if he can get him into good long-range positions, he can, and spread them out so they don't get bloody bombed, he could probably get a pretty good lockdown on that town, and it almost seems like he's completely run the town fight. There's a few of those recon troops, which I'm not going to pronounce, in the town left, and that's really it. There was still a lot of Bodemors, and they have a lot of bombs.
Yes, indeed. But at least getting just suppression as opposed to just outright kill. And that right there actually might be as more necessary than anything else. The DO-17 is like, okay, you know what? You can't just bomb our guys to, the hell and back. And then you realize the 76 mil behind the, Yugoslav lines is saying, yes, I absolutely can do that.
Yeah. Both sides have just been trading bombs.
I prefer to think of them as explosive little expressions of affection.
They have to, like cute little Valentine's notes in each bomb.
Dear Tito, I hope you die. Signed, Das Führer. Oh, man. I know, Der Führer. I don't know. I'm not assuming his gender. Maybe he identified as an it. I have no idea.
He knows. He was a rude man.
He was indeed. But 1311 in the meantime, as we cross a 33-minute mark over here, as the 105 just continues to pound everything. This is Imperial Guard play at this point.
That's actually a very good analogy, because it's just both sides are just throwing human raves as the backbone of artillery, and as I don't want to say it's like lack of tactic, but it's just been every time it's been a push, it just gets blown up by bombs. It's been very repetitious.
Yeah, but the repetition, I think, sometimes is a good thing. I think it's one of those ideas for us that sometimes we mistake different play styles for being better or worse. And I think sometimes, like now, you just want to have a little bit of boom, like so, up north, as we did the front 2 squads get obliterated in a small mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
I think we probably could take this to ×2, though. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, let's do it at 3350.
Sounds good. So, as we're kind of sitting over here, at long last, an actual anti-air piece comes out onto the field for the Germans. It's a Flak Vierle, which would have been great to bring in about, 25 minutes ago. But, better late than never. So, I get the feeling that the Baltimores, when they come back in, it will finally be about as safe to be in Baltimore as it will be to fly at Baltimore.
Yeah, and it does feel like HSC has just run the engagement in the center here, managed to trade a bit more effectively, and actually keep some of his troops alive long enough so they don't get bombed to bits, to actually take the front line here and get almost 15-9 for a second.
Well, and I was also kind of watching this. I was waiting to see some actual supply trucks. We didn't see a single supply truck over here for the Slavs.
No, we haven't. Yeah, they do have them available.
They have him, which is that for some reason didn't bring any on in, and I think that would be actually probably pretty helpful to keep some of his artillery, I think, a little bit more, how you say, alive.
Yeah, it usually helps him not to get bombed to begin with.
Sure. But at long last, we're going to see, just as a couple of those squads are here for the Yugoslavian troops are being brought on forward, in the same way that you have crazy, crazy firepower over here for the Fusiliers, the Yugoslavian scouts actually are probably not too far behind on that.
Yeah, and not too bad, but there you go. The GG, HSC, taking the victory, a pretty, what's that, 600 kill difference? Yeah, just about.
Yeah, about that. And honestly, this is kind of what we expected, though. With, like we said, low tech. We see right now 47 mil killing, 4, I'm going to put this in air quotes, tanks. And the bow fighter, when the bow fighter is killing as many things as most ground vehicles, I mean, that tells you right now the relative kind of tech difference between the two. So
yeah. And you can just see how effective the Baltimores were. They were getting, I'd say, a lot of kills. And also
yes.
just much more in terms of suppression as well, which won't be reflected in this kill list.
Well, look at the losses side. Actually, I want to see what the 105s and the 47s. Actually, no, geez. Clark over here, the DO-17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can't often say that your airplanes pay themselves off, but he definitely paid himself off. So well done to him.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one actually, Gibbs Strife unit actually knocked out a lot, including a couple of tanks. Good for him.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm butchering that, but you know what? That's fine with me. But 105s, and I would say the 75s over here, well done to those. I think keeping those heads alive was a very, very big thing for HSC over here, pulling out the W.
Yeah, that was a grind on both sides, and HSC just managed to grind a bit more better.
Probably a good thing that defenses can't be used, because at that point it really would have bogged down into World War I style of fighting. So.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, though, we actually want to give a nice big thank you over here to HSC for actually forwarding this replay to us. We always love seeing kind of community-submitted replays, so any single time you guys have a good match or a match you want to share, send it our way, we'll check it out, and maybe you too could be kind of featured here.
Indeed.
But any final thoughts there, sir?
Not for this one.
Not for this one. Well, folks, maybe he'll have more thoughts for next one. You'll have to go check out over here on Thursday. Until then, though, I'm Con Olberg.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.